4 arrow good, where I use the arrow as a reference. This too low, I try to shoot it without see it. Try to shoot this instinctive. This I shoot with the arrow as a reference. And that's what I do if I can do it. And that's the way I shoot bow without sights. I use the arrow when I can use it. This was 20 yard. And the way to try this, what system you really use when you shoot, is to shoot 60 or 90 or 100 arrows and count the points. At, let's say, 20 yard or 30 yard. Shoot 100 arrows, count the points. Do it again and again over a time of a couple of weeks and see what level you have. Then you take from the gym or from some carpenter what you want, where you have a hole. Then you shoot on same distance, but you have this 1 meter in front of you, a couple of yards, one yard or something like this in front of you. Then you shoot on the same target, where you hide the whole arrow against the target. You can't point with the arrow to the target. And then you do that over a time of a couple of weeks, 100 arrows each time, and count points. And then you can see if you shoot as good as you think without having a reference of the arrow, without line up everything and use the arrow sideways always, and also with a high, depends of the distance, as I do when I can do it. Sometimes in the forest it's just a little hole in the trees when I have to shoot on feeling, on an instinctive way, on feeling. But when I can, I use the arrow as a reference, and I use a gap system, like I look at always on the target. It doesn't matter the distance in yardage. The distance is how big my gap is going to be in the periphery view. I see the arrow in my periphery and I line up and I feel the distance between the arrow and where I want to hit, and train on different distances all the time. But sometimes it's impossible to see the arrow and the target, because in the bush or something like this, and then I shoot instinctive. But when I try this, or when I try in a totally dark room with a diode, I get lower point. I go down and get lower point. So for me, I shoot better when I have the arrow as a reference. And that's important for me to know, because then I have to take care of where I put it, always the same place under my eye, always same draw, and everything. And for me, the arrow is a sight. I also have, I shall show you. I shoot goal tip, kinetic, and a thinner arrow I see better with the periphery sight. And I think it also depends about how your eye are. If you're dominant more, I'm really dominant on my right eye, so even indoors with the light on I can see the arrow very clear, but it depends on the color of the arrow. And on the kinetic I have this on the inserts, and it's that I can see very good, so it's more easy for me to use the reference system with a thin arrow under my eye, and I see this very clear. Also the tip is important to be thin. It's different when the hunting season starts. We start shooting with the broadheads. You have to learn. When you have a big broadhead, you have to learn the gap. It's different. Okay, that's the way I shoot. I shoot with the reference as long as it's possible. When it's not possible, I shoot instinctively or on feeling in bushes or something like this. But if I do it over 100 arrow time to time, again I get lower points. So for me, the reference shooting works at this time a little better. Maybe in about 10 years more, maybe I can shoot totally without reference. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you always shoot better with reference, but I don't know. And I don't care. I use what the only thing is important for me is to shoot with the system, with a bow and with the competition rules, same rules for everyone. The only thing that's matter is that you can hit good. Compound, and you shall hit good with the compound. With a bare bow without sight, the best man hits best. It doesn't matter if he used what system he used. And if it's coming new system, I want to learn them. Of course, I just want to hit the bullseye every time. That's the only thing that's matter. And when sometimes I shoot as good with this one up to 20 yard, 25 yard as I do with my compound, but not every day and not over time yet. But who knows? Up to 25, maybe 30, 35 yard, the system with the pin sight of the arrow works really, really good. But I don't see many people who shoot good with this system up to 50, 55, 60 yard. But maybe they are out there somewhere, I don't know. But up to 30, 35 yard, the system is great. Okay, that was tip of the day. Check out how do you shoot. Do you use the arrow or do you shoot totally without references? It's an interesting question and interesting to try. Nothing is wrong. The way you can hit the bullseye is the best for you. Okay, thank you.